Single dad and the CEO were trapped in a cabin, then she whispered, "Can I slip under your blanket?" The snow was falling so hard that Mark couldn't see 3 feet in front of him. His hands were numb, his daughter Emma was shivering in the back seat, and the rental car had just died on a mountain road in the middle of nowhere. He'd promised Emma a weekend getaway after months of working double shifts, trying to be both mom and dad since his wife passed. Now, as the temperature dropped and darkness crept in, that promise felt like the worst decision of his life. Then, through the whiteout, he saw a figure approaching. A woman in a business suit and heels, of all things, looking just as lost and terrified as he felt. Her name was Caroline Pierce, and Mark recognized her immediately from the news. She was the CEO of one of the biggest tech companies in Seattle, known for her ruthless business deals and ice-cold demeanor. But right now, with snow in her hair and panic in her eyes, she looked completely human. Her car had slid off the road a mile back. She'd been walking, hoping to find help, and now they were both stranded. Together, they spotted an old hunting cabin through the trees. It wasn't much, but it had 4 walls and a roof. It might just save their lives. Before we continue with Mark and Caroline's incredible story, I want to invite you to join our Heartfelt Moments family. If stories about real human connection and the power of kindness touch your heart, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a moment. Drop a comment below telling us about a time when a stranger's kindness changed your day. And if this story moves you, give us a thumbs up. Now, let's get back to that freezing cabin in the mountains. The cabin was barely warmer than outside. Mark got Emma settled in a corner, wrapping her in his jacket and the one thin blanket they found in a dusty chest. Caroline stood awkwardly by the door, her designer heels completely impractical, her whole body shaking. She was trying to get cell service, but there was nothing. They were completely cut off. "There's a fireplace," Mark said, already moving toward it. "If we can get a fire going, we'll be okay." He'd grown up camping with his father and knew the basics. Caroline watched as he worked, gathering old newspapers and broken furniture, coaxing a small flame to life. Slowly, warmth began to spread through the room. Emma, only 7 years old, looked up at the strange woman with curious eyes. "Are you a princess?" she asked. Caroline's stern expression cracked just a little. "No, sweetheart. Just someone who got very lost." As the night wore on, the temperature outside plummeted. Even with the fire, the cold was brutal. Mark gave Emma his sweater, then his scarf. Caroline noticed. She saw how he put his daughter first in every single moment, never once complaining about his own discomfort. She also noticed that he was now shivering violently, his lips turning blue. Without a word, Caroline took off her suit jacket and offered it to him. Mark shook his head. "You need it," he said. "I'm fine." But he wasn't fine, and they both knew it. That's when Caroline did something that surprised even herself. She moved closer to Mark and Emma, and quietly asked, "Can I slip under your blanket?" Mark looked at her, confused. "There's only one blanket," she explained, her voice softer than he'd ever heard it in any interview. "And body heat is our best chance right now. For all of us." Mark hesitated, then nodded. Caroline carefully joined them, and they huddled together with Emma between them. At first, it was awkward. Here was this powerful CEO, probably worth hundreds of millions, sitting on a dirty cabin floor sharing a blanket with a single dad and his kid. But as the warmth spread between them, something else happened too. They started talking. Caroline told them about her childhood in a trailer park in Ohio, about working 3 jobs to put herself through community college, about the teacher who believed in her when no one else did. "I was a lot like you," she said to Emma. "I didn't have much, but I had people who were kind to me when it mattered most." Mark shared his own story. About losing his wife to cancer 2 years ago. About the struggle to keep everything together, to be enough for Emma, to not let grief swallow him whole. "Some days," he admitted, "the only thing that keeps me going is her smile." Emma fell asleep between them, warm and safe. Caroline looked at the sleeping child and felt something she hadn't felt in years. Connection. She'd built walls so high around herself, convinced that success meant being tough, untouchable, always in control. But here, in this freezing cabin, she realized she'd been missing something essential. "You're a good father," Caroline whispered to Mark. "Emma is lucky to have you." "I'm just trying to show her that kindness matters," Mark replied. "That even when life is hard, we don't have to become hard ourselves." Those words hit Caroline like a thunderbolt. She'd become hard. She'd forgotten that kindness wasn't weakness. She'd forgotten the people who'd helped her climb out of poverty, who'd given her chances she didn't deserve on paper. When had she stopped being that grateful girl and become someone who saw people as assets or obstacles? The storm raged all night, but morning finally came. A rescue team found them just after dawn, alerted by Caroline's emergency beacon that finally got signal. As they were led to safety, Caroline pulled Mark aside. "I want to do something," she said. "For you and Emma." Mark started to protest, but she held up her hand. "Please. Let me explain." She told him about a scholarship program her company was starting, one that would help single parents get job training and childcare support. "I want you to be part of designing it," she said. "Not as charity. As a consultant. Because you understand what families actually need." But that wasn't all. Caroline also committed to something personal. She would volunteer twice a month at the local community center, mentoring kids like she used to be. She would remember where she came from. She would let kindness back into her life. Mark accepted, not for himself, but for what it could mean for other families struggling like his. And Emma, sweet Emma, gave Caroline a hug before they parted ways. "You're not a princess," she said. "You're better. You're a friend." 6 months later, that scholarship program had helped 200 families. Mark had a better job with flexible hours, and Emma was thriving. Caroline had reconnected with the teacher who'd believed in her all those years ago and endowed a scholarship in her name. And once a month, Mark, Emma, and Caroline met for dinner, an unlikely friendship forged in the cold but warmed by something far more powerful than any fire. Kindness isn't just something we do. It's who we become when we let our walls down and remember that we're all human, all struggling, all in need of warmth. Sometimes it takes being trapped in a cabin during a snowstorm to remember that. Sometimes it just takes choosing to slip under the blanket and share what little we have. Either way, kindness changes everything. It changed Caroline. It gave Mark hope. And it showed Emma that even in the darkest, coldest moments, human goodness can light the way home.